Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Friday Ramblings. We are here. It is February, and that means everybody's thinking about Valentine's Day. Everybody's thinking about romance and love. Unless you're one of those people who just thinks about things that are a little spicier than love. Things that are a little not all ages appropriate. Things that are a little sexual. Yep, some people think the holiday is just for getting lucky, but you know what? That's okay. You know what? Keep it safe. Keep it consensual. Live your life. With that in spirit, though, we're going to discuss a classic film series. One that I have somewhat familiarity with, and that is the American Pie series. And the American Pie movies are classic coming-of-age teen sex comedies. This was a genre that was a little more prevalent in the 70s and 80s. Kind of fell out for a while, but in 1999, this movie decided to have a go at bringing things back. Now, the series, as I said, started in 1999 with the first movie. And we're going to look at the series as a whole right now. I may go through and review individual movies later on. This is your just surface level breakdown. Now, there's ultimately two series under the American Pie banner. There's the core series, and there's the spin-off series. We're going to discuss both briefly. This first part, though, really only applies to the core series. The core series, which is composed of 4 movies made between 1999 and 2012, covers a group of male friends. In the original film, they are high schoolers who make a pact to lose their virginity by the senior prom. And the various foibles they all go through with different females. Because yes, all the characters involved in this were heterosexual. I'm not saying other kinds of relationships are wrong, just that's the nature of the movie. We're all good. We're all still having fun here. Nobody's judging anybody. And how successful they may or may not be. The main character, of course, is Jim Levenstein, played by Jason Biggs in all 4 movies. Your other characters are Steve Stifler, played by Sean William Scott, who in the first movies portrayed more as an antagonistic bully character, though in the sequels would lighten up and become part of the inner circle of friends himself. Kevin Myers, played by Thomas Ian Nicholas. Paul Finch, played by Eddie K. Thomas, one of my personal favorite young actors of his time. Good times. As well as Chris Ostrecher, commonly referred to as Oz, played by Chris Klein. Various other characters show up, including Shannon Elizabeth's character of foreign exchange student Nadia, Stifler's younger brother Matt, who would show up in the first 2 movies and then the first of the spin-offs, Heather, played by Mina Suvari, Vicky, played by Tara Reid, Jessica, played by Natasha Lyonne, and of course, Stifler's mom, played by Jennifer Coolidge. The token hot mom of the high school. who herself would have a bit of influence in at least one of the boys' amorous activities. We also had the great Eugene Levy, who not only appears in all 4 movies of the core series, but in most of the spin-off series as Jim's dad, Noah Levinstein. And Michelle Flaherty, played by Allison Hannigan. Blah, blah, blah. You know, one of these days I'm going to learn to have my brain and my tongue cooperate with each other when it comes to names and pronunciations. So there is your most wanted list. Let's break things down. Classic style. As I said, we're mostly going to be focusing on the core series right now. We will touch on the other movies in the series. But you gotta love the main story. As I said, the original film was the pursuit of various high school boys to lose their virginity. And their attempts to do so, often with comedic results. Especially Jim, who is a good-natured man who just tends to be nervous and a bit socially awkward. The classic nerd. Jim himself seems to hit it off well with aforementioned foreign exchange student Nadia, who is quite a bit fond of our awkward nerd and is willing to get involved with him, at least on a physical level. However, Jim being Jim, that is no guarantee he's going to get lucky with Nadia or anybody, because part of being an awkward nerd, and I do speak in this from experience, is even when it seems like a sure thing, you will find a way to screw it up. For reference to the term American Pie, yes, there was a previous song with that title, but generally refers to both a scene in the movie which involves some violating of an actual apple pie due to a metaphor being taken a little too literally, as well as the writer, Adam Hers, stating the title can refer to the quest of losing one's virginity in high school, which is, quote, as American as apple pie. The first movie is an excellent movie, as you would suspect, given how many sequels it has spawned. And truly is an all-time classic in the sex comedy genre. Having said that, let's go through your sequels. American Pie 2 came out in 2001. And shows the boys coming home for the summer after starting college, where new shenanigans take place as they attempt to score over the summer. Some because they still haven't managed to find more than a one-night stand, others because previous good things have gone south. Again, not going to give you too many details, except for what I had previously established that in this one, former high school bully Stifler has become more of a regular member of the circle of friends, and himself and his constant need to try to not just be a big man, but Mr. Party Central guy himself, instigates a lot of the incidents, often serving as a catalyst for other people's sexual misadventures than him getting any himself. It is good times and a highly worthy sequel. Mostly because little bit of spoilers here. Michelle Flaherty, the band geek, shows up once again and manages to get a little more directly involved with Jim and his attempts to get ready for the return of Nadia. Michelle is in many ways a character that steals the show, while at the same time being the perfect plot catalyst she needs to be to make sure Jim does not become an absolute failure at all of his attempts in life. This leads us into the movie's grand finale, where Jim has a little bit of a growing up moment himself, which sets the stage for the third movie's main plot, which we'll discuss in a moment. Besides that, there is a bit of trouble as Kevin's previous high school girlfriend, Vicky, showing up from her own college experience, and the two of them awkwardly interacting as they try to both not hurt each other's feelings and make it clear that they are at least attempting to move on emotionally from their high school relationship. As well as Finch proving that his own awkwardness is only appreciated by one older woman, to the point that he himself is ready to do everything he can to ensure such an encounter happens. Good times, good times. When it's all said and done, everybody learns a lesson. And we move forward into the third movie, which is not called American Pie 3 officially, but American Wedding. This came out in 2003, so we've got a nice little every 2 years jump around here. The film's main plot focuses on the wedding ceremony of Jim and Michelle. See, I told you. I know that's technically going to make you think, oh, so I know what happened at the end of American Pie 2, but you only think you know. You don't know the details, which is why you need to watch the second movie. However, the subplot centers on recurring Steve Stifler and his outrageous antics to keep the party life going for everybody, which includes a crazy bachelor party and competing with Finch to win the heart of Michelle's sister, Cadence, played by new to the cast, January Jones. It's the last film in the series to be written by original writer Hers, who conceptualized the franchise, and the only theatrical film in the series in which previous main character or previous recurring characters, Oz, Heather, Vicky, Nadia, and Jessica, do not appear. Thus, there is a bit of a cast shakeup as these characters are not around to continue their story, so we have new characters introduced to make room. Hey, when you get people like this gathered together, even something that should be as relatively sane to pull off as a wedding, I mean, come on, people get married every day. I managed to do it without any problems. Mostly thanks to a wonderful support of family and friends, which Jim and Michelle have, and yet chaos ensues because Hollywood weddings are always more chaotic and crazy than real life ones. Mostly. When it's all said and done, Stifler shows he's growing up a bit himself by giving a bit of guilt and remorse to his actions when he realizes that his young party boy personality has hampered the wedding, and starts to recognize that you can't keep acting like you're in high school when you are now well past high school. One of those lovely growing up things that we all have to face. Still, everything ends up good. Our happy couple is married. And everybody becomes a little bit better for the interactions with each other, and sends that great moral lesson that ties up a trilogy nicely, that no matter how crazy they may be, no matter how selfish they may occasionally seem, true friends will always make sure you rise to the top, and when things are really important, they will make sure you get where you need to go. Point A, point B. And that romance knows no age. Yep, just because you are not a teenager anymore doesn't mean you can't be amorous and a little lusty. After all, no matter how old the characters get, they are still sex comedies at heart. And you would think that would have been enough. We had a wonderful trilogy, but things happen. 9 years later, we do get the fourth movie in the core series, which as of now is the finale, and that is American Reunion. This time it is written and directed by John Hurwitz and Hayden Schlossberg. 13 years after their high school graduation, as depicted in the original movie, hey, a little bit of real-time math there, Jim, his wife Michelle, and their 2-year-old son decide to attend their high school reunion, which means they are going back to East Great Falls, Michigan, after having moved to Chicago. They are not the only ones to attend, though. And we get a reunion of the crew, including a few folks that missed out on the previous movie, American Wedding, which is one of the good things about this movie being made, is that we need to get the return of people who were important in the first two movies, but elected not to be involved in the third movie. The main story of this movie is, while there's still plenty of fun for Jim and Michelle, Stifler himself, who apparently did not completely grow up after the end of the previous movie. Stifler has found himself struggling to make it as a grown-up and handling adult responsibilities, putting aside all of his hedonistic-based goals of his youth. This includes causing a bit of conflict with his friends once again. However, they are friends, and they help Stifler not only recognize that no matter what behavior he is, they will forgive him and help him find his own happiness in life. The other characters have their own moments, as, like many people do at their high school reunions, they try to overhype their own successes, admitting who they really are and where they are in life. Good times, good times. And everything is all said and done, the characters, except the fact that just because they've grown up doesn't mean they won't always be friends, and it doesn't mean the good times have to end. Still, it was a movie that, as I said, unlike the others, which were started pretty quickly after the previous ones, they only had a 2-year turnaround, as we stated before. This one was a 9-year gap. And while there is funny moments to the movie, it is, for me, the least recommended of the 4, as it feels almost bittersweet. It's like after American Wedding, you wanted to believe everything was going to be great for everybody involved. But in order to have a 4th movie and have that story of, you know, hey, they've still got growing up to do, they've got interpersonal dramas they have to face. You know, they didn't all get the success stories that, as fans of the first 3 movies, would have wanted them to have. Again, American Reunion is still funny. I highly encourage you to watch the first 3 movies, and after the fact, if you still feel like you need some more of these characters, go ahead and watch the 4th one. But personally, I put the 4th one in that list of sequels that didn't have to be made. It is in many ways optional. Generally, when I think of the American Pie series, I think of the original trilogy, Reunion being a bit of a footnote in the series. Kind of a, yeah, Reunion happened, we're not upset it happened, but it didn't feel like it was a necessary chapter. Speaking of unnecessary chapters, let's go ahead and get through a quick roundup of the spin-off series. The spin-off series currently consists of 5 films, the first 4 of which were made in the 9-year gap between American Wedding and American Reunion. All of these have gone direct to video, and as we said before, Noah Levenstein, played by Eugene Levy, appears in the first 4 of the 5 films, helping create the continuity between the 2. Let's go through this real quick. All movies are technically American Pie Presents, and then the name of the specific movie. We're just going to go with the subtitles, as this is our quickie roundup. Band Camp features younger brother from the original series, Matt Stifler, who wants to be just like his big brother, and therefore finds himself in college and causing more problems than solutions when he tries to be something he is not. The Naked Mile features Stifler cousin Eric getting a free pass to do whatever he wants from his girlfriend. Thus, he and his 2 best friends head to see Stifler's cousin Dwight for their college's aforementioned Naked Mile run, and hopefully a weekend full of fond memories. Beta House features Eric and Buddy Coos starting college and pledging the Beta House fraternity, presided over by none other than Dwight Stifler. Yeah, there's a lot of Stifler family in these spin-off films, folks. However, like classic fraternity-based movies, chaos ensues when fraternities butt heads with each other. The Book of Love features 3 new hapless high school versions discovering a Bible, aka homemade sex manual, hidden in the school library at East Great Falls High. Fortunately for them, the book is ruined and can only give them incomplete advice on their journey to losing their virginity. As I said, the first 4 movies were made in 2005, 6, 7, and 9. However, the final movie is the most recent one made out of both series, and that is Girls Rules in 2020. This time, the focus is on the females, as it's senior year at East Great Falls High, and Annie, Kayla, Michelle, and Stephanie decide to band together to get what they want out of their last year of high school. So a little bit of a gender flip on the classic American Pie formula. Nothing wrong with that in and of itself. Still, it is a good time. If you just like your sex comedy genre so much you can't have enough, go ahead and find these movies. Frankly, like a lot of franchises that go direct to video and keep churning the sequels out, you can do without them. Unless, as I said, you're just really, really into the genre and want to brag that you have seen every possible movie that has the American Pie label put on it. You know what? Nothing wrong with a completionist mindset. Still, when it's all said and done, look, the American Pie trilogy, 1, 2, and Wedding, highly recommended. Full of wonderful characters. American Reunion, it is an epilogue. It's got its moments. As I said, if you just really need a bit more from the gang, go for it. Spin-off series is only for when you're really bored. Which is as close as I want to come to being critical. Again, I appreciate the fact the movies were made. I have no doubt that everybody involved put all the hardest work possible into it, but sometimes you just hit into the law of diminishing returns. And that's okay. Still, we love Eugene Levy, and I'm glad, if nothing else, that the franchise has given him plenty of work and helped a new generation of late 90s, early 2000s teens find out how great a comedian he is. For now, we're going to sign off. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and more importantly, I hope that you not only enjoyed this video, but that you let us know with a comment or two, that you share it with your friends, and you help Roulette Productions continue to grow in 2024. You can always keep track of all our videos whenever they drop by clicking that notification bell and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. For now, though, I'm going to enjoy a little Valentine's Day magic myself, and maybe a little amorous intentions. Ooh. That's one good thing about being married, folks. You don't have to worry about scrambling for a date. Happy Valentine's Day. Enjoy yourself. But remember, stay safe, because I want to see you next time we ramble on a Friday. Bye-bye.